Hello everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel ForexPnL. Today is Friday the 18th of February 2022. It's 9:31 p.m. and well, it's time for me to do my weekend Forex forecast for the upcoming week. As you guys know, I'm not feeling so good right now, okay? But actually feeling better than I was last weekend, okay? I felt a little sick and didn't put out a video. Sorry guys, all right? But I'm feeling much better right now and thanks for the good wishes that you guys brought my way. All right, so thank you very much. Well, right now we're back on schedule again. All right, and well, it's time for me to do my weekend forecast for the upcoming week. And for the upcoming week right now I have about 12 currency pairs that are giving me a structural level to keep an eye on. All right, and well, as usual, we're going to be going through the the 8 majors and then any other currency pairs that are giving me nice levels to keep an eye on. All right, so without any further delays guys, let's go into the economical calendar, see what we have. All right, so from an economical calendar perspective, we really don't have that much. However, it is important to note that there are a lot of things happening, all right, around the world right now that are not on this calendar. For example, we know that the US Secretary of State is going to be having a meeting with the Russian foreign minister sometime in the upcoming week. All right, and a lot of head of states, okay, are going to be meeting next week as well. So these items are not in the calendar but can easily move these markets, okay? So that's important for you to have in mind, and don't just pay attention to what you have right now in the calendar, okay? So just have that at the back of your mind. But from what we have on the economical calendar on Sunday, we really don't have any item, okay? You can see it's blank. And then on Monday we have the manufacturing PMIs coming from the European axis, and that's also a bank holiday here in the United States. And then on Tuesday we have the bank holiday in Japan, and also we have the interest rate decisions coming from the New Zealand axis later on Tuesday evening, right? And we are expecting a change, okay? So an increase in the interest rate by 25 basis points. So that's something to keep an eye on, all right? Especially if you're trading the New Zealand crosses. Now, on Wednesday, not much monetary policy report hearings, okay, 4:30 a.m. That's obviously a high impact news. And then we have prelim GDP coming from the United States axis on Thursday. And that's really about it in terms of the items we have on the calendar. But like I said, it's a lot of tension around the world right now, so you might want to pay attention and just follow up to see how this is going to be impacting the markets as we go into next week. Okay, so that's about it right now from the economical calendar. All right, so let's take a look at the charts. As usual, I'm going to be kicking things off with US dollar Swiss francs. Okay, 1 second, let me clean up my charts. All right, so I'm going to be kicking things off right now with US dollar Swiss francs, and right now I'm taking a look at the weekly time frame. Well, price, I mean, this pair has just been ranging for the longest. As you guys can see here, we have pretty much, I don't even know what to call this now. It's looking more like a triangular consolidation at the moment. But the thing with triangular consolidation is price can easily give you, let's say, a shoot to the downside, and then you think it's now breaking to the downside, only for things to, shoot back again to the upside, and all you have to do is just adjust the triangle, okay? So that's why I really don't like paying attention to triangular consolidations. But as it looks right now on our charts, it's looking like a triangular consolidation in the weekly time frame. At the same time, if you pay attention, you will also notice that we are still stuck in this range, okay? Price has just been bouncing up and down in this range that we have in the weekly time frame, okay? So not much is happening right now in the really longer time frame. For this week's candle closed a bearish candle, all right? But it's almost in the middle of nowhere, right? So in my opinion, I'm going to be waiting for more price action to make any decisions in this currency pair. But again, we have this significant level here on the daily charts, okay, which where price has been bouncing off of in the form of let's say support and resistance, okay? So that's one to keep an eye on. All right, so let's see how that goes. Not much in this particular currency pair at the moment, all right, but it's looking more bullish than bearish in my opinion, okay? You can see that price gave us this nice push to the upside that led to the break of this level of structure right here, creating this demand zone, and since then price has remained above that demand zone. All right, so well, let's see what happens. Maybe another dip it's very possible into this particular area 0.9175 level, of which if it starts to hold, chances are we might get maybe another push to the upside into these selling origins that we have here that coincides with the top of the range and also the the top of that triangular consolidation area. Okay, so that's a possible move, or maybe a move that I can see from what we have right here on our charts. Okay, but again, like I said, price is not really going anywhere, and we will need more price action before we make any decisions in this currency pair. All right, so that's it for US dollar Swiss francs in my opinion. Next up is going to be Euro US dollar. Now Euro US dollar, again, also looking confused in my own opinion. From the weekly time frame, we have this weekly supply zone in this area, all right, which again has not been tested. All right, so well, it's very possible that the markets can open next week, and from here price just gives you a nice push to the upside into this weekly supply zone. But again, it's also looking like we are having an expanding triangle formation. Okay, let me zoom in. All right, it's looking like an expanding triangular formation. So and that's what happens when the market is not making any clear decisions as to where to go. So that's what I'm seeing right now on my charts. Again, that is not conclusive, but again, that's what I'm seeing right now. Price gives you a push to the downside. Again, from there, the bulls just come into the markets and start making a new high. So that is indecision in the markets, at least from the longer time frames. Okay, that's what I'm seeing. And again, this week's candle, there's not much of information to make out of it, in my own opinion. All right, at least from where the market is at this point. All right, now from the daily perspective, honestly, there is not much. Price just gave us a manipulation above these highs. Okay, you can see this quick dip to the upside towards our 1500 institutional price level, just enough to make it above these highs that we have here, and from there the bears are coming into this market. So it's looking more bearish right now. All right, it's looking bearish as if we are probably going to get a push towards that 1100 area, which as you can see here corresponds to the low of that expanding triangle. All right, so let's see how that goes. Now from the 4 hours time frame, what do we have here? If you guys remember from I think about 2 weeks ago, we mapped up this area right here, this area of demand in Euro US dollar. Okay, and well, you can see right now price, after bouncing off of that resistance area, okay, that supply zone, right now we are now reacting off of this demand zone right here. But again, we have a supply zone formed right here in the 4 hours time frame. So price is pretty much bouncing between this demand and this supply zone that we have in this area. Now, like I said, looking more bearish than bullish. However, to kind of start making clear decisions in these markets, I would like to see price give me a break of this demand zone. If that happens, that would be a nice indication that the bears are coming into these markets, and then upon any pullbacks, I'll be zooming into the smaller time frames to see price fill up supply zones in the smaller time frames for further continuations to the downside. That is going to be my preferred course of action. In the event that this does not happen, all right, and from here, let's say the markets just open next week and we start pushing to the upside, again, I'll be keeping an eye on that weekly supply zone area, for rejections off of that area for further continuations to the downside. All right, that's pretty much what I can see right now from Euro US dollar. Not much. Again, let's see how it goes, but the clear level is going to be right around this area, waiting for this demand zone area to give way to the downside. And if that happens, upon pullbacks, I'll be looking for supply zones to be filled up for further continuations to the downside. All right, so that's it for Euro US dollar. Now next up is going to be Australian dollar US dollar. Now for Australian dollar US dollar, oops, 1 second. All right, so for Australian dollar US dollar, what do we have here? So from the weekly time frame, nothing has happened here. We had an inside bar for the week. Okay, as you can see, this week's price action is contained within the highs and the lows of last week's price action. Okay, and again, price gave us a dip into that supply zone area that we have on the weekly time frame. So from a weekly perspective, we are still looking bearish. Okay, even though we have now had 3 bullish weeks in a row. Okay, so that's about what I can get from this particular week. It seems as if we are beginning to have significant rejections off of that 0.7225 level. All right, and let's see how it goes. It's looking more bearish than bullish. Okay, at least we are not messing up the bearish formation that we have in the in the weekly time frame. Okay, now zooming into the daily time frame, what do we have here? We'll notice that price gave us this nice let's say at this point it's actually just a selling origin, because well, it's actually a supply zone because we took off these lows right here. But again, what we have here, price has given us a dip into that particular area, right around, let's say 0.7250. It was actually a perfect retest of 0.7250 institutional price level that is in this selling origin that we have here on the daily time frame. And from there, you can see the rejections we got. And well, price is now finding it difficult to break above that area. So this is a significant level for the bears in these markets, at least from the daily time frame. All right. And well, if we are going to go to the upside, we need to give a clear break of this particular area to the upside. Okay. But right now, I think I favor the a bearish movement in this particular currency pair based on the price formation we are seeing and the rejections that we are seeing off of this daily selling origin that we have right here. Okay, again, to add to that, you can see how Friday's price action gave us a very nice and bearish pin bar off of that area. So I would not be surprised if next week the bears begin to come back into these markets. All right, that's what I can see right now from the daily. Now in the 4 hours time frame, not much. The key level in my opinion is going to be this demand zone that we have in the 4 hours time frame. All right, that led to the break of this level of structure right here, and you can see that we got a very quick dip into that particular area right around 0.7150 institutional price level, and then from there you can see the bulls came back to protect that demand zone. So that is going to be a very key level for the bears next week and the bulls actually. Okay, so I would love to see that level give way to the downside next week, maybe a little push to the upside, and then from here, if we get a break of this particular demand zone next week, that will be the indication to me that the bears are now in control in these particular markets, and upon any form of pullbacks to fill up supply zones in the smaller time frames, I'll be looking for bounces and continuation moves to the downside. All right, that will be my preferred course of action in Australian dollar, US dollar. And again, as usual, I'm going to be making an update in the midweek forex forecast, so keep an eye out for that as well. All right, so that's pretty much it for Australian dollar, US dollar. Next up is going to be New Zealand US dollar. Okay, again, let's take a look and see what's going on the weekly time frame. Very beautiful. Okay, you can see how price just retested the high of last week. Okay, and we are, even though we are having another bullish week, we are still maintaining the order. Okay, we are not taking off any previous higher highs. Okay, so right now we are still in the nice bearish formation, and I like how price is respecting this so and staying below this weekly supply zone. So no cause of alarm yet, and the bears are still in control in these markets. Make no mistakes. Okay, so taking a look at the daily time frame, what do we have here? Well, we also have this area right here on the daily time frame, this supply zone right here. The question is, will price get to that level? I don't think so. From the price action that I'm seeing right now, you can see that price just maybe might just end up just retesting this previous level of support that is now working as resistance in this area of the chart. And if you pay attention to the kind of price action we are getting from that particular area, you will notice that the first time we got very huge rejection off of that area, ended a pin bar, and well, price gave us a push to the downside into this buying origin that we have right here. And right now you can see Thursday and Friday's price action is also a very nice pin bar with nice weak rejections to the upside. So this area right here is a key area of resistance, and I would not be surprised if the market opens next week and we start, let's say, getting a nice push to the downside. Okay, that is actually going to be my preferred course of action in this particular currency pair. All right, again, remember, at the end of the day, anything can happen, but this is what I can see from my charts at the moment. Now, zooming into the 4 hours time frame, well, we might be forming higher highs and higher lows, but I think that is about to come to an end. No clear confirmations yet. New Zealand dollar seems to be stronger than the other currency pairs we have looked at right now. And well, we are in here and we have a key level of demand in this area, okay, that led to the break of this level of structure. So it will be nice to see this pair give us a nice push to the downside and break this this demand zone we have here in the 4 hours time frame. That will be the ultimate confirmation in my own opinion, and then upon pullbacks, I'll be looking for opportunities to go short off of supply zones that form in the smaller time frames. Okay, that would be my preferred course of action. But I think if we actually go down to the smaller time frame, let's say the hourly time frame, you can see this demand zone right here. Price is now battling inside this particular demand zone that led to the break of this level of structure. So the bears are coming in slowly but surely, but you can see that it is not at the same pace as the other US dollar crosses that we have looked at. Okay, so let's see how it goes. Preferred course of action, maybe market opens, we get a nice push to the up, a little push to the upside, and then price breaks this level and maybe bounce off of this and for further continuations to the downside. As usual, I'll be giving you guys an update in the midweek forex forecast, okay, that I release on Wednesday 1 a.m. Eastern time. All right, so that's it for New Zealand dollar, US dollar. Okay, next up is going to be British pounds and US dollar, the cable. So what do we have here on the weekly time frame? So if I zoom in here, you will see we have pretty much a perfect retest of last week's high and last week's low. Okay, price just stayed within the last week's high and last week's low, and we closed pretty much a spinning top. I don't know what to call it. I think this is what they call a spinning top. Trust me, I don't even know those candles by name. But the idea here is that neither the bulls or the bears are in control of this particular week. Okay, we just pretty much closed an indecision candle within the highs and the lows of last week. Okay, so not much to say there from the weekly perspective. If we take a look at the daily perspective right here, you notice that well, from right around this area here, price gave us a very huge drop, taking off demand zones that we have on this area of the chart and creating this supply zone in the process. And since then, you notice that price has just been dipping into that particular supply zone, and we've been finding resistance off of that particular area, right? So well, significant resistance actually, in my opinion. But what I would love to see now, I favor a bearish move, to be honest with you. I would love to see the bears come into this market and continue pushing these markets to the downside. That would be my preferred course of action, and that is also in line with what I'm seeing in the other US dollar crosses. Okay, this I would expect this level to hold, but again, in the event that doesn't happen and we begin to push to the upside, I would like to see a very clear break before I start searching for pullbacks to fill up demand zones in a smaller time frame. Okay, but I prefer to see the bears coming to this market to continue pushing these markets to the downside. All right, now from the 4 hour perspective, what do we have? Well, price is still moving to the upside, not much yet. We don't have a clear move yet. I would like to see this demand zone area right here give way to the downside before I start searching for short opportunities in this particular currency pair. So personally, I would love to see the bears come into this market, break below this demand zone, a clear break of this demand zone. When that happens, in my own opinion, that will be an indication that the bears are coming into this market, and maybe upon pullbacks, I'll be looking for supply zones that form in a smaller time frame for further continuations to the downside. Another important level to keep an eye on is going to be this demand zone right here. Okay, you can see the number of times that price has bounced off of that area. So I will not be surprised if price gets us to this area, and then from there we have a huge retracement to the upside for further continuations to the downside. All right, so that's what I can see right now on the cable. Next up is going to be US dollar Canadian dollar. Now for US dollar Canadian dollar, what do we have here now? Looking into the weekly time frame, price remains within this particular flat top triangle. Well, almost 3 weeks of indecision right now, as you can see from the kind of candles that we have. Okay, but again, we have huge wicks to the downside, showing that the bulls are in these markets. That's pretty much what I can see right now. We now have 3 pin bars in a row, so I would love to see the bulls come into this market and take off to the upside. Okay, that is going to be my preferred course of action as we go into next week, at least to attack the high of this particular flat top triangle. In the event that we break it to the upside, that will actually be a preferred move in my opinion. Okay, so let's see how it goes. If you look into the daily time frame, what do we have here? Well, price retested the trend line of this flat top triangle, and since then you'll notice that we had a very nice push to the upside from here. All right, from this particular area that broke this supply zone, creating this demand zone in the process, and since then price has been respecting that demand zone. All right, and right now I believe in the 4 hours time frame we are actually trading in a range right now, okay, which I have mapped out in this particular area. Okay, this is the bottom of the range right around 126.50 institutional price level, and this is the top of the range right around 12800. Okay, so this is the range that price is trading in right now. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye in this particular currency pair. Okay, I prefer to see a bullish breakout. Okay, so in the event that the markets open next week and we get a nice break to the upside, taking off the top of this particular range right around 12800. If we take off 12800 to the upside, I'll be zooming into the smaller time frames to for price to fill up demand zones, and then from there I'll be searching for continuations to the upside. Okay, that is going to be my preferred course of action in this particular currency pair as we go into next week. All right, now that's it for US dollar Canadian dollar. Next up is US dollar Japanese yen. Now US dollar Japanese yen, you can see that if we take a look at the weekly time frame, what do we have here? Well, price continues to give us that rejection off of the highs. You can see price just gave us enough push to the upside to retest the high, and from there we have now closed 2 pin bars, okay, in a row. So the bears are in this market. You can see the weak rejections that we have in this area. So well, the bears are in this market. In my opinion, I would like to see price give me a continuation to the downside, at least to retest these lows that we have in this area. Keep in mind that in the monthly time frame, we're actually retesting key levels. Okay, this is a key level on this chart right here. Okay, you can see how it works. Support, resistance, and price just tapped that 1600 area again. And well, let's see how that goes. I would not be surprised if the bears come back into this market in momentum from these particular levels. Okay, so let's see how that goes, but that's just a level to keep an eye on. Now, taking a look at the daily time frame, what do we have? Right now, not much to be told from the daily time frame. It's almost like we are still ranging in this particular area. If we take a look at the 4 hours time frame, however, you'll notice that the bears are now slowly making a point in this market. In this area of the charts, we were respecting demand zones on our way to the upside. Finally, price tops out right around that 116.25 level, and from there the bears came in massively to the market. You can see this nice push to the downside that took off this demand zone in this area and creating this supply zone that we have. And creating this supply zone that we have in this particular area right here. Okay, and what do we have? Price just gave us a push to the upside, all right, to tap into that particular supply zone, and you see from there the bears are now coming into this market, and you can see we have now taken off this low, meaning that the market is now forming lower highs and lower lows, and the bears are now in control, at least in the 4 hours time frame. And in the process of taking off this low, this supply zone has been formed in the process. Okay, so I'm not going to be surprised if this price retests this supply zone, and then from here, maybe let's say 115.50 level, maybe from here the bears come back into this market for further continuations to the downside. That is going to be my preferred course of action in this particular currency pair. Again, like I always say, let us see how it goes. Okay, all right, that's it for US dollar Japanese yen. Now the last but not the least for the majors is going to be British pound, some Japanese yen. And well, in this particular currency pair, what do we have from the weekly time frame? What do we call this candle now? A spinning top. Well, almost like the markets closed at the open price for the week. All right, and you can see we are still having rejections off of this area right here. Right, so it is looking like last week was a pin bar rejection. This week is another week of indecision. So well, I would not be surprised if next week the bears come into this market and just continue pushing these markets to the downside. All right, that is going to be, at least from what I'm seeing right here in the weekly time frame, that is what it looks like we're probably going to get next week. Now, from the daily charts, what do we have? A lot of ranging, not much in my own opinion, other than the fact that today's price action was actually a very nice bearish pin bar. Okay, and from here I would not be surprised if the bears start coming into this market. Now looking at the 4 hours time frame, what do we have? Things begin to get clearer as well, just like in the case of US dollar Japanese yen. You notice that from right around here the bears came into this market in momentum, all right, taking off this demand zone that we have in this area, and well, creating this supply zone in the process. And finally, price gives us a dip into that particular supply zone, and you can see that from there that actually happened earlier today, and from there you can see the bears have come into this market and they are now pushing price to the downside. Okay, so well, it's looking more bearish right now. However, you notice that we are yet to take off any significant level. I would like to see price begin to break below these some significant levels of structure that I have mapped out, both in the hourly time frame in this case and in the 4 hours time frame in this case. Obviously, at any particular point next week that price gives us a break of this demand zone that's been working as a support area, if we get a break to the downside, breaking below, let's say 150,500 institutional price level, which corresponds to be the low of this particular demand zone area. Once that happens, in my opinion, that will be the first clear signal that we are now looking more bearish than bullish. Okay, and then upon any pullbacks to the upside, I'll be looking for price to fill up supply zones in the smaller time frames for further continuations to the downside. That will be my preferred course of action in this particular currency pair. That being said, I believe you can see this demand zone that we have right here in the hourly time frame, okay, that led to the break of this level of structure right here. And you can see since then price has been bouncing off of that area, which also corresponds with the 15600 institutional price level. So price is now heading back towards that particular demand zone area. If the market opens next week and let's say we get price to give us a break of that level, maybe upon pullbacks, if we have any supply zones in the smaller time frame, I'll be looking for some kind of quick trade for further continuations to the downside into this particular 4 hours demand zone that I have mentioned earlier. Okay, so that's another level to keep an eye on as we go into next week. As usual, I'm going to be making an update in the midweek forex forecast, so guys, keep an eye out for that. All right, now that's it for the majors. Now I have 4 currency pairs, the cross pairs that are giving me structural levels to keep an eye on as we go into next week. The first is going to be Euro New Zealand. All right, so in this particular one, I'm not going to waste your time, but again, I like this particular demand zone right now. Okay, if you look at this particular area, this was the previous area of resistance on our charts. Okay, and after a little hesitation, the bulls came into this market breaking above that level of resistance or structure, creating this demand zone in the process. Price has now given us a pullback. Oops, 1 second. Price has now given us a pullback into that particular demand zone, and right now we are trading deep inside that demand zone. So what I would love to see next week is for price to start giving me a bounce. Any bounces we get from here, I'll be looking for an opportunity to go long for further continuations to the upside. Okay. That's pretty much what I'm seeing right now. I'm not so interested in searching for short opportunities in this demand zone area. Now, in the event that let's say the market opens next week and let's say we begin to clearly break below this particular demand zone area, then if that happens, I'll be looking for price to give me a pullback into supply zones in the smaller time frame for further continuations to the downside. But my preferred course of action is going to be for this demand zone area that we have here to hold, and then from here, let's say the bulls begin to come into this market for further continuations to the upside. That is going to be the textbook trade in my own opinion. All right, that's it for Euro New Zealand dollar. Next up is going to be British pound some Swiss francs. So for British pound some Swiss francs, well, not much right here, but if you notice, we actually have a supply zone right here on the weekly time frame. Okay, this is a supply zone on the weekly time frame, and you'll notice that price again has just tapped the low of that particular supply zone this week as well. So 2 weeks of indecision. Okay, that's what we have right here in British pound some Swiss francs. Okay, just right around that 12600 institutional price level. So well, nothing is happening for the past 2 weeks. That's what I can see from the weekly time frame. If we take a look at the daily chart, however, you notice that it's just a lot of wicks to the upside. If you pay attention here, just look at the amount of wick rejections we have to the upside. Okay, now 4 days of this week are pin bars. All right, that is just to give you an idea of the rejection that we are getting from this 125.50 area. Okay, so this is cooking for something in my own opinion, and it's looking more bearish in terms of what I can see with all these weak rejections. So I'm seeing a situation whereby the bears, in the event that we begin to get a clear break of this particular level that we're going to see in the smaller time frame, I would love to see a very nice push to the downside from this particular level. Okay, we have cooked this price for the past 4 days now. In my own opinion, I would like to see, whenever that price takes off, I would like to see it happen in significant momentum. All right, that is what I can see right now from British pounds and Swiss francs. And if we zoom into the 4 hours time frame, slowly but surely it is looking more bearish. than bullish. Okay, notice how we were respecting demand zones on our way to the upside, and then finally what happens? Price gives us a very nice push to the downside, and since then you will notice that earlier today price gave us a push to the upside to tap into this selling origin that we have on the 4 hours time frame right here. Okay, see how price just taps into that selling origin, and then from there the bears started coming into this market. Yes, it is still early days, but this is the key level right here. You can see how price has tapped in to that particular demand zone a couple of times. All right, so right now I'm going to be keeping an eye on this demand zone, coupled with what we have seen in the daily time frame. In the event that we get a break to the downside, taking off this particular demand zone area, in my own opinion, that would be the green lights to wait for pullbacks in the smaller time frame to fill up supply zones that have formed in the smaller time frame, and then from there I believe it's going to be a high quality trade to start searching for short opportunities in this particular currency pair. Okay, so let's see how that goes. Okay, again, remember, the markets can do anything at the end of the day. All right, now next up, Euro Australian dollar. Now for Euro Australian dollar, I'm not gonna waste your time, but from what I can see right here in this currency pair, not much. Okay, you can see this is actually not the best of setups, but I just want to call this level out. Okay, you will notice that from this particular area right here, this is a supply zone that we have in the 4 hours time frame. Like I said, it's not the best looking, but again, you can see that was what led to the break of this level of structure that we have on our chart. And actually in the smaller time frame, you notice that price has pulled in to retest that supply zone that we have right around 158.50 institutional price level. And well, in the event that, let's say, price dips into this particular area again, if we get any reversals from here, I'll be looking for an opportunity to go short for further continuations to the downside, at least for a retest of this previous swing low. But again, I would not be surprised if from here, let's say, if we get a break to the upside from here, that would be a confirmation for me that the bulls are now coming into this market, and upon any pullbacks, I'll be looking for price to fill up demand zones in the smaller time frame for further continuations to the upside. Okay, so let's see how that goes. Now the last but not the least is Euro Pounds. Okay, so Euro Pounds is almost like I'm calling your attention to a level, just in case you are not paying attention. I just want to show you a level that I'm seeing on my charts that I believe has been holding since 2016. Okay, just pay attention. Price is now coming back towards that 0.8300 area. Okay, you can see it's been working as some support, and again, this is the weekly chart. Okay, since June of 2016, price has not traded below 0.8300 in Euro Pounds. Okay, you can see how price has been reacting off of that area, right, as if it's just a flaw in this particular currency pair. And right now price is approaching that area again. So I just wanted to call it to your attention. I think it's going to be a level to keep an eye on. Okay, if either we get a break to the downside, okay, or price respects this level for further continuations to the upside. Okay, in my own opinion, wait for price to give you a clear indication. At least right now we are in this area. I would say stay away from trading Euro Pounds at the moment. Okay, wait for a clear direction. Okay, maybe for a clear break, which anything can happen, but what I would prefer to see is for this level to hold. Okay, based on the analysis that I have done for the other currency pairs, I would love to see this area here to hold, and for the bulls to start coming in this particular currency pair again in momentum. Okay, that is what I would like to see in Euro Pounds. Now that's really it for my analysis for this particular upcoming week. Let's see how it goes, and like I always say, I will make an updated analysis in the midweek forex forecast. And if you're interested, I just saw that this is actually now a range. Also, you can see where price is trading in this particular currency pair. This is the range that we have Euro Pounds trading in. So price can easily from here give us a respect of the low of that range for another continuation to the upside. Okay, so is something to keep an eye on as you are trading this particular currency pair. Again, in my own opinion, it is not worth it to be trying to squeeze out a few pips very close to that bottom of the range. Okay, all right, that's it from my own end, guys. Hopefully you gained some value from this particular video, and if you did, guys, please do not forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and click on that notification bell so that you will always get updates whenever I post a video. Like I said, we are back on schedule. I'm feeling much better right now. Cheers. Enjoy your weekend and have a profitable week ahead. Bye bye.